G'day everyone, today we're going to be checking out Red Purple Lore. This meta is really diverse, got a lot of great decks that can top, that can win, but today's video we're going to be focusing on Red Purple Lore. We'll go through a deck profile, we'll have some gameplay at the end, and along the way we'll talk about some little tips and tricks that we picked up as we have played the deck. Now for those of you that haven't seen Red Purple Lore for some strange reason, let's go over the effect. So Lore is a red and purple leader, as we've mentioned a few times already. 5,000 power, starts with 4 life. The effect is activate main once per turn, Don -3. You can place one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less at the bottom of their deck, and then you can play one character with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. So Lore is really good at controlling the board while building their own board, which is why Lore is just an absolute menace. If you see the right cards, you can be very aggro, you can win very quickly. The downside to this deck, there's a lot of cards that don't have counter, or if you see at the wrong time, they're just not very good for you. So you can also lose pretty quickly. And there's been a few times where I've lost, where I've had a fairly big hand size, but yeah, nothing useful, no counter cards. So that is the downside to this deck. This deck can play pretty well going first or second. It really just depends on the matchup. You've got plays for both kind of things going on there. Typically, for your opening hand, you want to see some of your ramping cards. They're important early so you can build a board presence while not going down to very little Don. And you also want to try and see some of your power reduction cards in your opening hand. All right, let's start off by looking at the ramping cards that we have. One you probably do want to see in your opening hand is Sachi and Penguin. It is also a 2k counter, 4 cost, 5,000 bodies, so it can be played off your Lore's effect. On play, if you have 3 or less Don cards on your field, you can add 2 Don cards rested. So really good when you use your leader's ability early on in the game, so you're only negating yourself by 1 Don early game, which is nice and very manageable. Next up, a body with the same stat lines but no counter is Iron. This is on play, you can ramp a Don rested, so once again another great option for you to ramp. Next up, we're running a full playset of the Secret Rare Bond Clay from EB01. 4 cost, 1,000 body, 1,000 counter. On play, you can ramp a Don active. And then when attacking is you can copy one of your opponent's character's attack. So this card's really good into decks that like to run big boys and likes to rely on their big boys. So black typically runs Moria. Mr. 2 is really good into that, really good into the Bonnie matchup that relies on the Captain Kidd. And you do see some blue floating around that like to play Blower Hancock, or some of the bigger ones like the Mihawk or the Secret Rare Kaido, which Bonkai can quite easily copy. Does get easily bottom deck when going against blue. And the same in the mirror match. But in the mirror match, you mainly just going to be using it as a ramp anyway. Next up, we're running 3 copies of Miss All Sunday. Miss All Sunday is really good. It's a card you can't play off your leader's ability, but on play, you get to ramp a Don, and then if you have 6 or more Don, you can also draw a card, which is really good. Sometimes you struggle with hand size in this deck, so this card just helps fix some of that problem there. The trigger is you can Don -2 to play the card, then you can use the effect to ramp and draw if you are at that appropriate stage. Most of the time, I'm not really going to use it as a trigger, unless having some extra ball pressure is really going to be good. That Don -2 does hurt us a bit in this deck where we're always minusing Don. And next up, we're running a full playset of the blocker Captain Kidd. There's going to be blockers scattered all over this profile. But this one you can't play off your leader's ability. 5 cost, 6,000 body, 1,000 counter. Your turn, whenever you minus a Don, you can add 1 Don from your Don deck and set it as active. So really does help counterbalance a lot of your leader's ability going there. And if you play in combination with some of these other ramp cards while you use your leader ability, you're only going negative no Don or 1 Don. Every couple of turns, you have a couple of kids out there, you're sitting really, really pretty. So we've spoken about cards that you can ramp with, and they're typically the cards that you will play off your leader's ability. Now we need to talk about cards that help us to reduce our opponent's power so that we can also clear board at the same time. First of all, running 3 copies of Gordon, and we are also running 4 copies of the Raise Max. Both of them have the exact same stats and effect. Activate main, you can bottom deck the card to minus something by 3,000 power. You can run an opposite ratio there. The Gordons are just more expensive than the Raise Max. Being a 1 cost body is really nice as well, so 1 to minus 3,000 power is really good. Couple of those to take care of your bigger bodies is nice. Next up, we're running 3 copies of Otama. Otama is also another one of our 2k counters. So on play, you can minus something by 2,000 power, so not as good as the Raise Max or the Gordon, but also cost you 1, which is nice. And the last card we're using as some cost reduction, we're running 2 copies of the blocker Tony Chopper from EB01. Cost you 3, 4,000 body. As we said, it's a blocker, and the effect is Don ×2 when attacking. You can give one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during the turn. People don't always run this card. Some people run the Zoro Joro instead, the one that helps you ramp. But I find I generally don't have an issue with ramping. It's more so trying to find cards that have a power reduction. So we've spoken about a couple of the blockers, the Captain Kidd and the Tony Chopper. Let's talk about a few more that are running in the deck. Running 3 copies of the Sanji from OP07. 6 cost, 6,000 body, 2,000 counter as well. So another one of our 2k counters there is a blocker. The effect is if we have 2 or more Don less than our opponent, Sanji becomes a 3 cost in our hand, so we can play it off our leader's ability, which is quite nice. And a 6k body is just nice to have on board. Next up, we're running 3 copies of Shariah. 3 cost, 4,000 body, 1,000 counter blocker. When attacking and on block, you can copper your opponent's leader's power. So this card's really good into decks that rely on buffing their leader to kind of get some effects. So Gecko Moria is one, Blue Dofi is another one, really good into those decks. And also really good into things like Yamato that have some extra added effects on top of their attack. And the when attacking is also really nice. A couple of games where I've used that when attacking just to buff and to be able to swing in on characters or swing for game, be a bit more aggressive that way. Next up, 2 copies of Law, 4 cost, 5,000 body, or 1,000 counter. On play, Dom -1. If your opponent has 7 more cards in their hand, they trash 2 cards from their hand. So that's completely random. You randomly choose 2. This card's really good into those decks that like to have a big wide hand. So things like Anel, things like your Bonnie. And rounding off the blockers, we're running 3 copies of Queen, 5 cost, 6,000 body, another one of those characters that cannot be played off your leader's ability. On play, Dom -1, draw 2, trash 1. Helps you fix some of your hand while establishing a nice big blocker. Rounding off the deck, we've got a couple of our tech cards. So we're running 4 copies of Reiju. This one is just basically for the draw power. So on play, if we have equal or less Dom than our opponent, and we have 5 cards or less, we can draw 2. And we're running a full play set of Kid and Killer, the big aggro card of the deck. Its effect is if our opponent has 2 or less life, it also gains an extra 2,000 power. So it being 4 cost, 7,000 power is absolutely insane, especially late game. You can play a couple of these out, use leader's ability, play another one out. Having multiple swings at 7k there is really nice, really great way to close game. Also can be a really great way to kind of control board when needed. There is the deck in all of its glory. We'd love to hear what you think of it. Let us know what you're playing around with your ratios. I know it's kind of not a set list. You definitely have room for some tech cards going on there, which we've mentioned along the way. But now let's move into some gameplay. All right, jumping into game 1 here. We're going against a blue Boa Hancock. Mulligan here because we're trying to find some of our ramping cards, which unfortunately we don't get with the mulligan. We do have 2 Kid and Killers, a couple of 2Ks, raise max and some cost reduction there. Stacking 8 on us, swing it in, we'll take that hit. Do go into a Sachi and Penguin, which is good for our ramping sort of stuff here. And we draw into our Chopper. So first of all, we'll swing 6K, see if we can draw out a card from their hand. Yep, they give us a 2K, and then we'll play out the Chopper. We'll use the effect and we'll play out our Sachi and Penguin, ramping up a couple of Don. Passing to our opponent, they've got 5 Don, they're swinging with us at 6. We will counter out with the Otama, and they play out the Jinbei, which will play out another character. They play out the Mihawk, the draw 2, trash 2 when attacking. So we draw ourselves a Kid and Killer, which is 5 Don, which is all the Don we have. So we'll swing with Sachi and Penguin first, another card out of hand, which is great. And then we'll use Kid, and then we'll swing in again at Linus if we draw out another card. And we will end turn there using no effect. Okay, they're putting us, which gets rid of some of our decent cards. They do still have a Reiju, which is good. They search with the Sengoku, get the Hancock, the stun, and bounce at 1 cost. They swing into our Sachi and Penguin for 5. We counter out that, go another 5. Let's just take that. Still got 2 Don. They could have blocked with the Kid, but then they could have swung into the Kid, and we have basically no counter going on in hand. We'll take this swing and go into a Queen, and then another Kid for our draw. So we'll chuck 2 on the Chopper, and we'll use Chopper's effect here to minus power to the Mihawk. We'll swing into the Jinbei, which they take. Then we'll use All's effect after playing Kid, bounce back the Mihawk, and then play out the Reiju, draw a couple, and then get 2 restood off our Kid's effects, and then we'll swing in for 7 at face. See what our opponent does here. They take that, so they're down to 3 life. We'll pass turn there. Our hand's looking a little bit better. 1 2k, a couple of 1k counters in there, and a couple of ramp / draw cards going on. They're swinging at the chopper. Let's protect the chopper here. We'll use the queen. They've got the 2 swing in there, so it's just trying to take out the chopper. We're countering out there. They did use the gravity blade on us, which is super annoying in this matchup. The best card for blue when playing into us. So we draw into an iron. We'll swing into the pudding. Try to clear some board here. Play out another kid. Our third kid. So we've got 2 Don left to work with. We will pop 2 on leader here, and then we will swing in at their leader. They take that. We'll use our leader's ability, bounce the Sengoku, and we'll play out the iron to ramp a Don, ramping 2 Don, and we'll leave ourselves with 1 Don open. It could be a bit better with our Don management there. Maybe got an extra K swinging at leader, but they still took it, so it's not too bad for us there. So we'll block with the kid with a swinging in 5. They've got 10 Dons. They might play the secret rare card. Okay, playing the stun. But while they can't bounce anything, but the iron cannot attack. And then they're playing the Doflamingo to look at the top cards of their deck. They left them on top. And so we're going to draw into a raise max. We'll use our chopper's ability, minusing the boa, swinging that leader for 7. They'll block. We can use the raise max to minus the boa again, which puts it in bottom decking range. And we will swing in at 5 here with the Reiju. See if they take that. No, they give us a 2k counter, which is good for us. We'll use leader's ability now. Bottom deck that Boa Hancock. We'll play out the iron, and we will ramp a couple of Don there. So we've got 6 Don. Possibility that we can play the Missile Sunday to draw and ramp here. But we could just go in for some big swings too. So let's go for 9k at face, see what they do. And then let's go for a 8k at face. Probably could have ordered that a bit different. Probably could have gone 8 first and then 9. But they're on no life, and then okay, they just surrender right there. So they didn't have a whole lot. They had a few boas. They had the secret rare, couple of 2k counters in their hand. So there is an example of red purple law being a menace. All right, jumping into the next game, we've got ourselves a blue Doflamingo Loki, a really good deck in this format. We will choose to go first here, and we will keep this hand. Got a couple of our ramp cards going on there. Got the chopper, which is handy, and the rush card, which is all really good. And we've got a couple of laws now, which can be good because sometimes blue likes to have a big hand. So we'll swing in first, see if they take this hit or if they count out of it. And then we'll probably play the chopper as our next move. So they counter out, we'll play the chopper, and we'll pass our turn. They got 6 cards in hand, the 4 Don up. So they're going to use the Weevil draw card, and they're going to pass. No swinging in at us there. So we'll pop a couple on our chopper. We'll minus the Weevil. Put it into bottom decking range. See if they take the 7k hit. They do. We'll swing in another 7 at leader. And they choose to carry out this one. Interesting. So give us 2 cards, which is good. And then we'll use our leader's ability or bottom deck the Weevil, and we'll play out the Sachi and Penguin to ramp ourselves up another 2 Don. So minusing 1 Don that turn, which is pretty decent for us. They're going to swing in at the chopper here for 7. We'll probably just end up taking this one here. Don't have enough counter in hand anyway. They play out the Doflamingo. This one that can play out a card. So we'll pass to us. We'll play the Reiju. We'll draw a couple of cards. We'll pop one on the Sachi and Penguin, swing into the Croc. See if we can clear some board. So if they give us a 2k, they do give us a 2k. We'll do another swing at that Croc for 6. See if they give us another 2k, which they do. And then we'll just pass turn there. No using effect. Go on there. So they got 4 cards in hand. Bunch of 2Ks in trash, which is really good for us. Deck usually runs, I'd probably say around 12 is probably average for Doflamingo decks. So swinging 5 in at our Sachi and Penguin, we'll take that. It's the Gecko. They didn't play anything off the effect. What it was, a Perona there at the top of the deck. Okay, passing over to us. We've got 4 Kitten Killers in hand. Could be nice and aggro. Let's start off by going 7k into leader. See if they want to give us 2 cards to take a life. They take a life. Let's do 7k again in at leader. We've got 4 Don left to work with here. We can go the Kid and Killer, which will do 5k swing. See if they take this. They don't. If they didn't, we might have just gone another Kid and Killer. But you know what? Let's do another one anyway. Put them down to 2 life here. Surely they don't have another counter. They don't. So 2 life. So those Kid and Killers are 7k next turn. So our opponent's going to be focused on trying to clear them. Swinging 5. First of all, we'll counter out. We've got the 10 Don. Could play the secret rare. But they won't get the draw because we're not at 3 or less life. Swinging in, I guess, we'll counter out again. They're playing Perona, doing some searching. Are they going to leave at the top or the bottom? They're choosing to leave the cards on top of the deck. So their leader ability is going to be very live right now. So they're going to swing in at 7 at this kid, and they're going to play out the Weevil to draw a card. So that's pretty nice. Know exactly what they drew as well. We'll take that one. They've still got the 6 Don left to work with. They're going to use all those Don. They're going to play the Boa Hancock. So the Kid and Killer cannot attack, which is pretty nice. Nice plays right there. So we've got the 2 characters on board. Only 2 swings are available to us unless we play Kid and Killer. 7's a nice number for us to try and do some pressure with. So let's swing in at the Moria for 7. See if they give us 2 cards, which they don't. And we've got 3 cards in hand, which is good for us. Let's pop 1 on the Raju, swinging at leader. So they give us a 2k. So they do a 2k in hand. We will play the Raju, draw 2. We've got 7 Don here. We could use Lee's ability here. And let's play out the Bonclay to ramp Don, which we can match the bowler's attack there. They do nothing pass to us. Their hand wasn't great. They drew a Jinbei. They could have played out some stuff there when they have left in life a Moria and a Doflamingo. They had Gravity Blade right there. I'll say saying a bit of a misplay there. He was meant to draw into Gravity Blade there, so he would have just misordered his Perona turn there. But yeah, we just had a nice aggro hand. We still had a couple of Kid in hand. We probably still would have taken that, which yeah, our opponent thinks there anyway. But yeah, it can be super aggressive there. It was really good seeing a few rages there to be able to build up a hand and keep it nice and big. Next game we're going to a Bonnie here. We'll mulligan our hand. We'll mulligan our hand. A couple of Rages, raise max. Not seeing any of our ramp cards, which is a bit unfortunate for us. Typically want to be a bit more aggro going into the Bonnie. Try and pressure them so much they can't afford to play their bigger cards. So they search a Cavendish off the Bonnie. We'll swing into the Bonnie. And then we'll play the Iron and just ramp, and we'll pass our turn there. They play out the Cavendish. Really great value. Basically turns into a 3-cost card. They'll swing for us to 6. We'll 2k counter out of that. We don't want to go too low in our life. And they pass with the 1 active Don. So they'll rest whatever we don't attack with here. So we'll go 6 into their leader. They'll rest our leader. And we'll see if they counter out of that. They don't. They take that. So they've got 7 cards. We will probably with 6 Don. We'll go the Kid. And we'll use the Raise Max to then bottom deck the Cavendish. We'll bounce a couple going on there. And we'll play out the Law and use that effect. So trash in a couple of cards. Good to control that hand size for our opponent there. And see, we trashed a Hawkins. See what else we trashed? A Zorro, which is, yeah, nice. That thing's nasty if that thing hits the board. Hard for us to remove. So they play out the value 5. So they're playing the mixed deck here. So we'll be looking for the Doflamingo. which they do find the big boy. So they're swinging at 7 at the iron. They play out the Rosinante as well. We will block and counter out of that with a 2K. Passing to us, we've got 6 Don to work with. We'll play the Sunday to draw. So we draw into a kid, which is okay for us. Good to have 2 kids on board. We'll take out their searcher. They'll rest our kid. And they block with the Rosinante. Okay, so we will then swing in at leader for 6. They'll take that hit, and then we'll probably use our leader's ability to bottom deck their searcher, play out probably a Reiju. The draw is probably a bit nicer at this stage. So we'll bottom deck that. I'll actually go the Sachin Penguin, which is probably a bit of a misplay, because I don't think we actually get the ramp off that. Because, yeah, we weren't at that threshold, that 3 or less. So, yeah, that's definitely a bit of a misplay there. They play out the Zorro, which is nasty for us. They're tapped out, though. So, let's swing in while we can still use all our characters here. First for 6, they counter out of that. We'll go a 7K on this one. Let's see what they want to do here. They go a 0 cost, go up to 8. Hand size looking pretty low. We'll go another 7. They'll take that. We will probably run another 7 into them here. As I said before, we're going to try and be nice and aggressive, try and reduce their life pretty quickly. And then, so we will use our leader's ability here. We won't probably be able to bottom deck anything, but we'll want to get the Reiju out, get the draw this time. So yeah, going to the draw, 2K and a chopper, not too bad. We'll pass our turn there. So we've got 2 blockers and 3 life, and they've got a Zorro that will swing in a bunch of times. Setting up nicely so we don't die this turn. Okay, they're going Doflamingo. So they're going to freeze our stuff, and they're swinging to one of the stuff that they froze, which I think probably could have been used a little bit better. Swung in somewhere else, because that thing's definitely going to attack. And they did the same thing again, swung into something that was frozen. We will draw into the Gordon. We'll stack 2 on the Reiju. We'll swing in for 7. And they counter out with a bunch of cards right there, which is good for us. They've got 2 cards in hand. They've got the 1 life left. This is probably going to be a game here for us. Real nice to have a bit of a rush card here. Just got to think about the maths here. We're swinging in for 7. They'll take that, and then we'll swing in for a bunch more, and then they had dead cards in hand right there. Okay, we're going into a Perona here. Perona's actually nasty. It's won some events in this format there. We going second there, try and put them off quite a bit. They always have the Ryumas, which is super annoying in this matchup. I don't think I've played a Perona where they haven't found a Ryuma on curve. Swing at 8, we'll take it. Is it Blonde Clay? Okay, can be good. They do run some bigger boys, which can be nice, but the ramp's also really good. 4 Don, they got nothing on board. Let's go for 5 at their leader first of all. They take it, so it puts in law range. We'll use the law's ability. Okay, Sabo and a Lion Song. Usually don't see a Lion Song too much going on. So they rest our leader with our character with their leader's ability, and there it is, the Ryuma. Told you they always have it. Always have it. Swinging it for 5, we'll counter out with the Queen, and we'll pass to us. So 5 on this turn, we'll play the kid, and we'll swing in for 5. See if they counter or take. They take, and we'll use our leader's ability, and we'll go the Reiju, bottom deck the Otama, go into the Reiju, draw a couple of cards, and then ramp a Don with our leader's ability. Once again, probably a bit more effective with that Don ramping there with the kid. But once again, they did take the life, which is not bad for us. So they rest the Reiju. Once again, the Ryuma, they always have them. Definitely most annoying card in the matchup. Swing for 7, and have another 7. We'll block 2K. We do have another 2K if they swing in for 7. Yep, they do, so we use another 2K, which is good. Right. So we got the 5 Don this turn. 3 Don on the leader will swing in at the Ryuma. See if they protect it. They can't carry anything with the effect there. They do. They use a 0 cost. We'll Gordon that other one, and we'll bottom deck that other one. Play out the Bonclay to ramp, and we will just swing into that other one for 9k. See if they want to protect it this time. They do. They do. All right. 2 cards in hand. Good for us. We'll pass turn over to them. So they're on, I believe, 9 Don right now. So they play the Sabo, which will KO both of our guys here. No, okay, ditching the Doflamingo from hand. And we have been board wiped. Swinging it at us for 6. And it'll also be another 6k swing. We'll counter out of this one. And the 6 will take this one. Draw into a Shariah. Not the greatest card in this matchup. And we're going to an Iron. Iron's also not super fantastic for us right now with 6 Don. We'll swing 5. They'll counter out. So they've got no cards in hand right now. We will probably use the Raise Max, get rid of this Ryuma. We'll play the Kid. We'll bottom deck with Leader's ability. And we'll play out the Iron to ramp. And ramp again with the Kid. So just going -1 Don that turn. So they've got 2 swings. We have a blocker. And we'll have 3 attacks next turn, which we could maths out completely next turn. If we got a rush card, it would make it a lot easier too. 9, we will take it. Draw into a Kid. We want to see a Kid and Killer. Swinging at 11, we'll probably take this one too. 4 Don, we'll play with 4 Don. It's a great question. They're resting. It's going to be a Ryuma, isn't it? Yes, it's always a Ryuma. 3 of them this game. Okay, we draw into a Kid and Killer, which is great for us. So we'll swing 5 with Leader. Probably is going to be smart. Okay, no, I lied. I'm going 6 with Leader. And then we'll go 7 with Leader. And then we'll use Leader's ability, which is more Don efficient for us, and play out the Kid and Killer. And then we can just stack it on and swing for game. So stack it on another 5. Big boys, swing for 12, and they can't counter that, and that is game. Alright guys, and that is the deck in all of its glory and all of its action. Let us know what you think. Yeah, haven't played heaps of Red Purple Law, so gameplay could have been a bit of a better quality if we had a bit more reps into it, but the deck's absolutely great. Let us know what you would do differently, and let us know what you want to see profiled next on the channel. Probably have some decks we have played a bit more with coming up. But stay beautiful, and we'll see you all in the next one.